Hello, this is Stephen with MCNC's Vital Cyber team, and we're going to do a very quick overview of the CrowdStrike console. So when you first log in, you'll be presented with a screen like this. This is the activity dashboard, where you can see things such as new detections, which haven't been picked up by the team yet, or your most recent detections. Now, first place we're going to go to after this is the sensor download page, because that's where you download the sensors. Hamburger menu, host setup management, and we'll go into sensor downloads here. From within this screen, you'll be able to see pertinent things like your CID up here. You'll be able to see all your deployment guides and your sensor versions here. One thing to note, if you need an older sensor version, like you have macOS Catalina, you can go in here, older versions, open that up, download what you need. Now, I did click into the deployment guides. Let me just get this going over to host management. But when we're looking at the documentation, we can see that we have documentation for Windows, Mac, Linux. If you have any questions about how to install those, all of the pertinent information will be here. And just because we're here and it's handy, the dashboards and reports, which I'll touch on at the end of the video, their information's right here as well. Now, first place we went to after the sensor downloads was host management, because as you install a device, you can run commands locally to verify the install was successful. However, until it's checked into the console pulled down policy, we're not going to consider it a success. Things to keep in mind on the host management screen is you see first seen devices, the OS version, the last seen, the host name, plenty of good attributes to search off of. If you've got a domain with OU information or site, that'll be populated as well. You get to see your different policies. You should see something like MCNC Win Mac Linux Prevention Baseline. If you ever come in here and you see something like changes pending, or you see default Windows Mac Linux, that's when you email secops@mcnc.org and just say, hey guys, what's going on here? Can you help explain this? A lot of times if you click in a filter bar up here, you'll see some of the attributes we can search off of. So we could pull just all of our Windows, all of our Linux, all of a specific OS build if we need to upgrade those. We can always adjust columns or export and hand that display to a tech so that the tech could go out there, perform whatever actions are needed without having to give them access to the CrowdStrike environment. Now, once you're installed in here, we will step into the endpoint detection screen, simply because this is where MCNC spends a lot of time. You're not expected to go in here, but if you want to, it is exposed out to you. On a given detection, we'll have its severity classification. We'll be able to see pertinent network operations, disk operations, DNS requests, and registry operations. We'll be able to see the user that was logged in during that time. We'll be able to see what command line was entered in. We'll be able to see the exe, and to help us search, we even have hot links out to VirusTotal, hybrid analysis, and we can search not only your environment, but all of our clients' environments for a given hash to investigate and understand, is this just localized to your environment, or is this something that we need to be aware of across our wider environment? Getting into areas that we hope our clients to take advantage of would be Falcon Discover. Falcon Discover could be thought of as a CMDB Lite. The agent is on all of these devices collecting this intel. We're going to expose it to you so you can take advantage of it. We start off in the assets dashboard, which simply CrowdStrike's on the device. It knows the OS version. It sees all that information. Managed assets are those running CrowdStrike. Unmanaged are the devices that do not have CrowdStrike on them but could receive it, so think devices you missed during an automated deployment. Unsupported devices are your printers and your IoT devices, your game consoles, that such. As you install more devices, these graphs will change to show your environment. If you've got good network or segmentation, you'll be able to see network prefixes, you'll be able to see hardware models, OS versions, and generally get a good fingerprint of your environment. Of course, you can always go up here and search by OU, tags, domain, other pertinent information that you'd set up during your installation. You also have stuff such as system resources, drive encryption, OS security features, and other things you can dig into to get visibility that you may or may not have right now. CrowdStrike also registers accounts when they log in. This isn't pulling from your Active Directory server, however, this is looking at when you do a login process on a Windows machine, what's going on. Again, we could sort by account type. If we had a domain, we would see domain here. We could go see admin, yes or no. I always like looking at domain admins, tracking those closely. But just at a high level, we see all of our logins by username, the device most logged into, whether they're domain or not, if you were having the type of login, such as cache credentials, terminal server, etc., everything would be here, and you can start to pivot in further to find more information. Application usage is another great area. So CrowdStrike is on these devices, it's collecting information, it knows what applications were installed and when Windows registered them. So by coming in here, you can see that information and you can check for things like exam software. You can look for programs you would not want, like regular version of Minecraft when you want Minecraft Education installed. And you can also find other bits of software to help you understand your licensing needs, or if you've got older software that needs to be upgraded and maybe there's a cost associated, you'll have that visibility. Application usage is very similar, it just shows what's actively been used. Next up, we'll look at Falcon Spotlight. So this is the vulnerability management component. Again, we'll jump into the dashboard. At the top here, we have our expert ratings, and what the expert ratings are is CrowdStrike being an intelligence company. They know if a given CVE is actively being exploited, if there's public exploits for it on GitLab, and they'll use that to seed this information. Yes, we do go from 28 criticals to 48. However, we go from 639 highs to 206. Generally speaking, if you work on your criticals and highs, everything else should follow along. You'll have a vulnerability chart here. This is going to ebb and flow as you're doing your early installs, but it should stabilize as you go on. Most importantly, Falcon Spotlight gives you recommended remediations. So when you start digging into your vulnerabilities, you can find out not only just what those vulnerabilities are, but how do I save time by working on just the remediations. So again, I had about 1,000 vulnerabilities up there. If I just installed this KB on these three devices, I'll go down 642 vulnerabilities out of about 1,000. Huge numbers for just effectively updating 3 Windows devices. Finally, we're going to jump to the dashboards. So again, hamburger menu, come down here to dashboards and reports, and we're just going to click into all dashboards. A lot of what I've been showing you thus far have been these dashboards, so really what I'm going to recommend is when you do get in here and once you're comfortable with the console, you've done all of your installation, click into these dashboards, figure out which ones you like, which ones you don't like, and what you can then do is create your own custom dashboard or dashboards that have whatever information suits you and the way that you do business. Of course, some leadership dashboards may be more high level, some engineering dashboards may be more low level, really up to you to create what you want out of this console. So, hope you've enjoyed this. Again, I'm Steven with the Vital Cyber Security Operations team at MCNC. If you ever have any questions, feel free to email us at secops@mcnc.org. Thank you. If you enjoyed the video, please do make sure to share it out with folks in your cohort or anybody you think it could be useful to. We're all in this migration journey together. And always remember, if you have any questions, we're here to help, and you know how to get a hold of us.